Today we're going to be going over the T57W model phone. We'll discuss how to put this phone together, what the initialization process looks like, what all the buttons on your phone do, and how to perform basic functions such as call transfers. So when you first open the box, you'll have the device itself, a handset, an Ethernet cable, a power cable, and a desk phone stand. So first you'll want to insert the desk phone stand into the back of your device. All you need to do is slide it in to the right and you'll hear a locking noise. After that, you'll want to plug the handset cable into the phone's handset port. Now you'll notice that there are two ports here. The bottom one has a little phone icon and the one above that has a headset icon. So the headset icon is for a headset, whereas the handset icon is what you'll want to make sure that you're plugging that handset cable into. After that, you'll plug in your Ethernet cord and your power cable. Now we typically recommend a direct Ethernet connection as it's going to offer the most stability and isn't prone to the same network fluctuations that can sometimes occur over a wireless network. However, these phones do have the ability to connect to Wi-Fi, and if you have a strong network, your phone can absolutely function properly over a Wi-Fi connection. You may also notice that there is a PC port here. This is for something called daisy chaining. So daisy chaining is essentially the process of using your phone as a switch to supply internet to both your computer and your phone using the same internet connection. To do this, you'll connect one Ethernet cord from your network source to the internet port on the back of the phone, and you'll use a second Ethernet cord that's going to run from the PC port on the phone into your computer. After that, you can flip the phone over and you'll see that the desk phone is initializing and it may take up to 10 minutes. After that, it will find the network or start searching for Wi-Fi, and then it'll pop up with an E911 address. After you press OK there, you'll be brought to the home screen where you can see the phone's time and date in the top right corner. If there are any errors here, such as no service or invalid account, check your network connection first to make sure everything is connected properly. If the errors persist, it may be a firewall setting that's preventing the phone from registering, and you may need to contact your IT team for assistance. Masters Telecom does offer a network configuration guide, along with the site tool test provided by Verizon Wireless, which can further diagnose any issues you may run into. Now we're going to move on to what the actual buttons on your phone do. So to start off with, we have our number pad, which is of course for entering phone numbers. You do also have the ability to enter characters with this, but this phone is a touch screen and you will have access to an on-screen keyboard. On the right hand side, you have this phone with a pause button and this phone with an arrow and another phone. These are for hold and transfer. Now when you're on an active call, you will have these options on the screen, which I will go over shortly, but this is just another way of performing those functions. This envelope key here is for voicemail. So these phones don't come with voicemail already pre-set up. You will need to go in and set up your mailbox, but all you need to do is press that envelope key. That'll walk you through choosing your language, setting up your password, and creating your custom greeting. Once you've set up your mailbox, you can call into your voicemail at any time by pressing that envelope key. When you have a message, you'll have a blinking red indicator light on the top of your phone, and you'll also see on the phone's display that you have a voicemail and a missed call. Volume slider here. If the phone is just sitting idle, this is going to adjust the sound of the ringtone. If you're on an active call, it's going to adjust the sound of that call. And if you're on speaker, it'll adjust the sound of the speaker. And your speakerphone button is this little megaphone over on the bottom right above the Yealink logo. Microphone with a line through it is your mute key. So if you're on the phone with someone and you don't want them to hear you for whatever reason, you can put that call on mute and they will not hear you until you take them off of mute. This does glow red when it's pressed, and you will also see on the screen that the call is muted. Headset icon here is for headset mode. So these phones do have that headset port in the back, and they also have Bluetooth capability. So if you wanted to connect a headset, you could do so and enter or exit headset mode with that little headset icon. Then these two arrows kind of overlapping each other here. This is your redial or call history key. You also have call history on the home screen of your phone. From your call history, you can select certain items, and if you hit the little information icon, you can choose to add this number to your contacts or block the number by adding them to your blacklist. Those contacts will be housed in your directory. So in your directory, you'll have a local directory, a remote directory, and a blacklist directory. Your local directory is any contacts that you have manually added to the device. Remote directory is pushed out to the phones from the OneTalk portal. This is things like your company directory and any virtual extensions you may have created. And lastly, your blacklist is for any contacts that you may have blocked. D&D stands for Do Not Disturb, so this will send all your calls to voicemail. This does show in big red letters on the screen like this when it's pressed, so you'll know if you've accidentally pressed it or left it on. Then in the menu here is where we have our settings. So up at the top here we have our phone's status, and you also have access to your directory, history, and voicemail from here. DECT settings is really only used if you're connecting a cordless handset to this device. And USB is for if you're using a USB device for things like call recording, this is where you can access those files on that device. Your settings are going to be found between basic and advanced. Basic settings are your things like your language, display, sound, time and date, and it's also where you'll find Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So if you're connecting this phone to Wi-Fi, you'll want to go in here first, make sure it's turned on, and then you can connect to any of the available networks. Advanced settings is password protected, but typically you'd only be going in here if you're doing something like a factory reset. To do a factory reset, you would need to go in to reset config and then reset to factory settings. Factory resets are typically only done in more advanced troubleshooting cases, in which instance you would probably be talking to Verizon Wireless support or Masters Telecom support. Moving back to the home screen here, on the top left of your phone, you'll have 3 lines here with your extension listed. Those are your phone's 3 individual lines. So you can be on 3 active calls at one time, and you can bounce between them with these 3 buttons. So when you're on one call, you'll have a little green light here showing that this line is active. And then if another call were to come in, you would see it flash across your second line and also scroll across the bottom of the screen with options to accept, silence, or reject that call. You also have some empty spaces here in the Show More button. If you press Show More, it'll bring up a bunch more of those empty spaces, and you can press and hold one of those to switch the line type to like a speed dial or an intercom. And your intercom and paging functions are configured in this Features tab here, along with things like call forwarding. Now when you're actually on a call, it's going to look a bit like this. So you can see here that there's a green light showing that this line is active, and the buttons across the bottom have changed. So you now have hold, transfer, end call, and then these 2 dots here for more, which is where you'll find park and conference. So if you wanted to place a call on hold, you would just press hold. Now keep in mind that that's only going to put the call on hold on your own line. If this call needs to be retrieved by someone else, you'll want to use the park function. Placing a call in park essentially places it on hold on another line so that anyone else can retrieve it. So to park a call, you'll press more and then press park. Now when you press park, the phone is actually going to tell you exactly what to do. So you'll hear instructions to enter the phone number or extension where you want to park that call, followed by the pound sign. You can also just park it to your own device just by pressing pound. When that call is parked, that person will then have an audible and visual notification that a call is parked on their line so that they can retrieve it. This call can also be remotely retrieved from any device just by dialing **88, followed by the extension the call is parked at and the pound sign. Now, one of the key differences between transferring and parking is that if you transfer a call to someone and it's not answered, it's just going to go to their voicemail. But if you park a call on someone's line and it's not retrieved, it's going to roll back to you when that time frame is up. That default time frame is 45 seconds, but that can be adjusted up to 10 minutes from within your OneTalk portal. Next up, we'll go over transfers. So to transfer a call, you just need to press this transfer icon. You do not need to put that call on hold first, and we actually recommend that you don't. All you need to do is press transfer and then enter the phone number or extension where you want to send that call. After you've entered that phone number, you'll then choose direct or consult. These are the 2 different types of transfers. A direct transfer is just going to send it directly to that person. So after you hit direct, you're finished. Consultative transfers allow you to announce the call before sending it over. So for these, after you tap consult, it's then going to call that person, and you'll just need to press transfer again to finish sending it over to them. If that person says they can't take the call for whatever reason, you can just hit end call and it'll bring you back to that person waiting on hold in the background. And last up, we have conference calls. So for conference calls, when you're on your first call, you're just going to press this more key down at the bottom right and then press conference. After you press conference, you're going to enter the phone number or extension that you want to bring in, and then tap in conference again. That'll merge those two calls together. You can have up to 6 people in one conference call, including yourself. So if you wanted to bring more people in, you would just do those same steps again. So you would press more, conference, type in the phone number, and then conference again. Thank you for watching this tutorial video. If you have any other questions about the functionality of your device, please contact your Masters Telecom representative for additional assistance.